16 games that ripped off Steal a Brainrot. And when you hear a name like Steal a YouTuber, you already know it's a one-to-one recreation. From the red carpet and exact same base shape, to the characters having different rarities, and also live events. But what I didn't expect was some features being better than the original. In this game, you can collect queso and Preston Plays. Also, there's a remote lock, which lets you close your base without ever being near it. And for 99 Robux, that's really not that bad of a deal. The game even lets you get a free exotic Mr. Flim after 20 minutes, or a legendary creep crab for joining the group. It's not terrible, but things get so much worse with Steal a Batty. The second you boot up the game, you'll realize that the currency is aura. But to give them props, they didn't just completely rip off Steal a Brainrot. One thing that's kind of different is how locking your base will actually slowly close the gate, giving people just enough time to get out before you notice. For a game called Steal a Batty, it's surprisingly high quality. Collecting money is way more satisfying, and the graphics are better. Not only that, but they have an upgrade system that makes your characters level up without having to search for new ones. At the end of the day though, do you really want people on your friends list catching you playing this? Imagine trying to show off your collection of Batty's mom, Batty's grandma, School Batty, and then there's Michael Jackson. Not gonna lie, one of the best ripoffs in this whole video is Steal Anime. Not only are the animations way nicer, but instead of stopping thieves with a baseball bat, you get anime powers. There's punching, heavy attacking, and my personal favorite, the Flash Pound. Like, who doesn't want to have Naruto, Goku, and Denji in their collection? Where things feel super different is when you play Steal a Spongebob. It's exactly what you think it is. Sure, they ripped off Brainrot, but in the best way, because the entire map is Bikini Bottom. Your base is the Krusty Krab, and you can buy any SpongeBob character you want from the red carpet, whether it's Mr. Krabs, Karen, or even Smitty Werben Jaegerman Jensen. They even have some of the most unknown characters in the show here, like Jim the Fry Cook. They also made it so you hit away thieves with a spatula instead of a bat, and they even host their own admin abuse events. But tell me why you're not allowed to pick up your own characters and move them around. It just kinda sucks. But it's nowhere near as bad as one of the scummiest ripoffs, and that's Steal a Car. In this game, you don't have a base, you have a garage. Over on the red carpet, it's obviously a road instead, but you'll quickly see that this looks super janky. The roads don't line up, the collect buttons are just blue towers, and there are about 1 million microtransactions on the screen at any given moment. This game does have one thing going for it, and it's that stealing a car isn't just picking it up and running away. You actually have to get in and drive it back to your base, which looks hilarious. Other than that, it's clearly made to just milk you for Robux. Like if you want protection on your base, they're all temporary, whether it's a police guard for 5 minutes, there's a turret for 30 seconds, or locking your base for 10 minutes costs 20 Robux. The best part is when you go in the shop and see a laser gun for $9, and above it is the word cheap. Like, yeah, sure it is. But that's still not as lazy as one of the most popular ripoffs in this video. Someone saw the insane amount of people hopping on Steal a Brainrot and 99 Nights in the Forest, so what did they decide to do? Introducing Steal 99 Nights in the Forest. Don't expect anything special, because the second you jump in, you can see basically no difference between this and Steal a Brainrot. It's the exact same game with wooden bases instead of metal ones, not to mention the enemies from 99 Nights on the red carpet. They even have the exact same shop and index buttons from Brainrot. Talk about lazy. What about ripoffs that actually try their best to be good? Well, Steal a Squid Game by Chain Lemonade is one of the highest quality Brainrot clones I've ever seen. They redesigned the entire map to look like the red light green light arena and has some pretty funny characters. You'd expect to see the old man, the guards, and Thanos on the red carpet, but there are some other great ones like the marbles, the Dachi, and my personal favorite, the glass bridge. Then turn to look at your base, and it's actually the bunk bed room with the piggy bank. This game doesn't throw microtransactions in your face other than the remote lock, and yet you'll find that it doesn't have as many players as it used to. Probably because 1, Squid Game is ended, and 2, there's only like 30 characters. So when you've collected them all, you have nothing to do. Not a bad ripoff, but how about one that is literally a scam? This is the free Brainrot UGC Glass Bridge obby, and it's just one of many different kinds of fan-made obbies that claim you could get free items. From the thumbnail, it pretends that it gives you free Brainrots, and while it might seem obviously fake, these things pull in thousands of players. Literally just a glass bridge map where you have to get to the end without dying, and it's usually laggy, full of troll items, and has no respawn. Then, when you get to the famous checkpoint you see from the distance, the second you stand on it, it asks for Robux to use it. That's not all. When you're finally here after like like 20 minutes, you'll realize there's a giant wall blocking you. You can only complete this after a 2-hour timer or spend Robux to fix it, which is stupid. So what happens at the end of the 2 hours? You're scammed again, because now there's another 12-hour timer or 300 Robux to get to the end. After you doing all of this, nothing happens. It's terrible. Instead, you should play a way better ripoff like Shred a Brainrot. Instead of just nabbing the original game and adding different characters, these guys decided to let you turn them into smoothies. You have a base with a giant shredder in the middle, and you can collect Brainrots from outside. You have to have strength to pick up the rarest characters, and once you do, you can throw them into the shredder and drink them as smoothies to level up. It's basically like a cooler way of stealing a Brainrot because you do have to fight other players for them. I mean, who doesn't want to pick up copyright SAHUR? And it wouldn't be Roblox without some kind of fishing game trying to rip them off. There's not much to say about this because it's literally just a Brainrot clone with bungalows instead of bases and fish in the water instead of a red carpet. But the craziest part, these aren't just regular sea creatures. Some include TUNG SAHUR, Patapim, and Tralalero Jr. There is just one problem. The game is called Steal a Fish, but you can't because they made running so slow that it's basically impossible to grab other people's stuff. On the bright side, it is pretty well made and doesn't feel janky, not to mention there's plenty of random events and traits to keep it interesting. Rebirths aren't as hard as the other games either, but there is a catch here. This game only gives you 8 slots at the start instead of 10, and if you want those 2 extra ones at the back, it costs Robux. So you've seen what a high quality game looks like, but what about a blatant ripoff that looks worse than the thing it's copying? Introducing Steal a Drawn Brainrot. And yes, it's the exact same game, but instead of cool 3D models, it's just 2D sketches. I don't know how, but the drawings kind of suck as well. They just float along the red carpet, and that's it. There's almost nothing different between this and the original, except they call them Drawn Rot gods instead of Brainrot gods. Like, who's playing this? Somehow 17 million people have, which is crazy to me. But not as insane as the fact that another 74 million people have played Steal a Meme. So when you steal the characters in this game, they play sound effects instead of reading their name out loud. Bruh. The devs really set out to rip off Brainrot, but make it better. And that's why there's all kinds of improvements. From playtime rewards, luck cards, and characters doubling in price after you bought them, so it's harder to swoop in. There's also an airdrop with collectibles. Find the set and you'll earn exclusive rewards, so it really looks like they put effort into this one. Unlike Steal a Garden. This is basically just a mashup of Grow a Garden and Steal a Brainrot. Instead of just buying seeds from a store, you grow your garden by stealing plants from a farmer and then sell them. But you gotta avoid him killing you before you can sell them, and with the money, you don't really do anything other than buy upgrades. It is literally just being the first person to steal the best plants, or you can choose to transfer them to your greenhouse instead of selling. They just put some on display, and anyone can steal them if they pay Robux. Even the tutorial claims the only point of playing this is to flex to your friends how much money you have. At this point, I'm starting to think people will make a Brainrot clone out of any idea because there's literally a game called Steal a Drink. I'm not kidding when I say this might be one of the laziest Roblox games I've ever played. It's just steal a Brainrot with a Minecraft floor and low quality sodas on the red carpet, and of course, one of the mythics is a Prime bottle. Ugh. Now, the #1 most popular ripoff in all of Roblox, with over 2 billion visits, is Plants vs. Brainrots. You basically plant seeds like Grow a Garden, but at the same time, your plants will fight Brainrots that attack the base, kind of like Plants vs. Zombies. Once your plant kills a Brainrot, it gets added to your inventory, and you can throw it down to earn cash for more plants and upgrades. That's basically it. You can't steal other people's stuff, only admire their collection, but clearly, the game's popular for a reason. It's pretty fun and very different from Steal a Brainrot. By far, the most successful copy of the game outside of Roblox is Steal the Brainrot. This appeared in Fortnite a couple months after the Roblox version blew up and was literally identical in every way. It became the most popular Fortnite map of all time and broke records, with even Fortnite themselves promoting it. The funniest part is, it was so popular that other creative maps have appeared, ripping off a ripoff, like Fruits vs. Brainrots in Fortnite. We have officially come full circle. Let me know if you played any of these in the comments. It's been Tommy, and keep it here on Top 5 Gaming Blocks.